Hi, this is Francis Sideco with TIRIAS Research. I'm here with Anshuman Saxena, VP of Product Management for Qualcomm's Auto Division. So we're here in beautiful Hawaii, as you can see. Not sure what we're doing working, but but we're having fun anyway in this holiday or in this paradise. So Anshuman, you guys have a few announcements that you're doing in the show. I think Snapdragon Cockpit Elite and also Ride Elite platforms. So maybe you could just tell us a little bit about them and and what you guys are trying to accomplish with them.
Yeah. First and foremost, welcome,
Thank you.
Francis, to Maui. Beautiful place, and thanks for traveling all the way here and being part of us from at the Snapdragon Summit.
Yeah.
We have a lot of exciting things that we have lined up, and we are talking about Snapdragon Cockpit Elite and Snapdragon Light Elite, Ride Elite solutions. Uh, as the name suggests, they are the premium performance in the automotive solutions that we have got, both on the cockpit, which is what you touch and feel as a user experience, and Ride, which is our assisted driving, automated driving solution, where you will basically be able to get the best experiences from how you have a really comfortable drive in an automated way on the car. That's what we are bringing in, and we'll talk more about it. Yes.
Yeah. Well, so I mean, and I think this goes along with the elite naming. It seems like as you bring your Orion CPU through all your different
Yes.
platforms, it's getting the elite tag. So what does that CPU bring to the cockpit and the Ride Elite platforms
Yes.
that it didn't have before?
Yes. No, it's a great question again. Uh, the so Cockpit Elite and Ride Elite are really premium systems. CPU is one big part of the overall solution, but it is the whole system play that we talk about. Right now, we brought in Orion CPUs, which are Qualcomm's in-house developed CPUs that we started bringing out in the compute platforms earlier, and now we are getting into the automotive solutions. First and foremost, just to kind of baseline, the Orion CPUs are designed purposely for the automotive application. They are adapted, they are enhanced for the automotive needs, and I'll come to what those
Yeah.
needs mean. They are designed for automotive safety, because when we talk about ride solutions, anything related to driver assistance or automated driving needs to be safe.
Yeah.
So the Orion CPUs for automotive are designed to be safe. They are designed for automotive reliability, right? So they are again basically prepared to go to for 10 plus years of the when the car is on the road, maintaining a sustained performance, right? It's not that you boost up and then bring down the performance, because when we are driving the car, we expect the whole time when we are driving,
Yeah.
the car behaves the exact same way, the user experience does not degrade, and you cannot miss out on detecting an object because, oh, the CPU did not work fine on that, right? So Orion CPUs are designed for that. Now, what experiences does it bring? The concurrency and the immersive experiences that you can get in the car with multiple displays. Each of them have a touch screen, right? The kids at the back can have their gaming consoles available on the screens that they have got. The mapping engine that is there on the in the front, all those user experiences have to have a low latency. They all have to run concurrently, right? And that is your touch and feel that you get. Generative AI. Yes, we have a dedicated NPU for that, but how do you control the user
Yeah. You
interface,
still need a good CPU for
exactly
that.
the
Yeah.
context and the intent of the things around you? That is there in the Orion CPUs.
Yeah.
If I transfer it to the right, again, when you are making decisions based on so many things around you, and every car around you or every truck around you, you want to predict how the trajectory could be, you need a lot of compute capabilities, a parallel processing compute capability that the Orion CPUs bring to the table.
Okay, perfect. So, I mean, so compared to the previous CPU that were in these platforms, it's just a lot more powerful.
Yes.
It's a lot able to do a lot more concurrent capabilities and things of that
Absolutely.
nature. So, I mean, let's go back to kind of something you said about the Orion CPU being specific, being designed for the needs of
Yeah.
for auto, right? And obviously, that comes with ASIL certification
Yes.
and so forth. This is still based on the same Orion CPU that you guys have in your in your X Elite for PCs, and now Snapdragon 8 Elite for smartphones. We have a little bit more of a technical audience sometimes, so maybe not exhaustively, but can you give like an example of one or two things that you guys had to do for the non-automotive Orion to become an automotive Orion? What are some of the maybe architectural things or certain things that you had to do to help it pass like ASIL D compliance, for example?
Right. Now that's again a great question. So when we say non-automotive Orion in the X Elite and the now we have announced it in the in the
Elite.
mobile process, the Snapdragon 8 Elite as well.
Yeah.
The goodness of the CPU, everything that you heard about from the pipeline and everything, those are the inherent implementations that benefit from a single-threaded and multi-threaded applications.
Yeah.
We benefit from that as well, right? I mean, the CPU itself is class apart from the standard solutions that might be available.
Yeah.
Now, to make it automotive, because you cannot compromise on the safety, for example.
Yeah.
There has to be a lot of systematic development that has to go in. There has to be all the checks and balances on the memories, on the compute capabilities, on what we call as self-testing. All that has to be built into the CPUs, so that when the typical assessment is done in the automotive world, they can go track from every requirement to the actual implementation, and they can stand behind the matrix that safety certification requires.
Okay.
So that's what we do in the automotive world of the Orion CPUs.
Perfect. Okay, great. Thank you. So, I mean, you mentioned Cockpit and Ride, right? So obviously there's the two main kind of applications or use cases in auto, right? There's the IVI stuff, infotainment, and there's more the mission critical safety things. So let's kind of shift that a little bit to within the context of AI because that's such a big topic. So how do you think generative AI is impacting potentially both of those?
Yes.
Both of those situations.
Absolutely, right? So the elite solutions that we have got are designed in a way that they should bring in very differentiated experiences, right? The large language models are becoming prominent, right? You can bring them to the actual edge device, which is the car in this case, for all the privacy reasons, for the database that is there for the particular vehicle, and it can generate the kind of experiences that you and I can talk to the car, bring my digital life from back home, right? My cell phone, what I was watching on the TV, right? All this is connected. I can bring that to the car as I walk into the car, and that context is maintained. Now you think about it from a multimodal perspective, and my colleagues showed you some examples on how it is relevant to the phone, but bring it to the car context, right? The multimodal AI, which is powered by the NPU that we have added in this, and you look at it, it's 12x higher performance than our best previous generation solutions, right? So that's a big deal.
Yeah.
What is happening is you are now able to bring the context of not just the conversation. You are having a conversation with the machine, but the conversation with the machine is dependent on the context of inside the cabin and outside the cabin, right? For example, you can bring in the context of I am searching for a parking spot while I have to get out, and the car can decide for you that you, Francis, are going to go into this place where you have the next program, and you don't have a lot of time. Get down. I will search the parking spot. This is a conversation, right? I can search the parking spot and park your car by myself.
Yeah, oh, that's great.
That is the compounding of AI.
Yeah.
The pervasive Gen AI, as we call it, right? When you are bringing in multi-modalities which were designed for a different purpose, but brings a brilliantly different experience for you when you bring this kind of
And
applications.
a use case like that is actually almost a combination of both IVI
And
and
ADAS.
ADAS.
Exactly,
right?
right?
Yeah, and you hear about these situations. I mean, you talk about context awareness. You do that with a phone. The phone has its own systems, but the 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 car has so many more sensors
Absolutely.
that you can bring to bear. Everything from lidar to radar to the cameras themselves and so forth. So.
Spot on. Actually, we typically get stuck, particularly for these use cases. We typically get stuck on the cameras, radars, and lidars.
Yeah.
Car has lot more sensors.
Yeah.
You can actually find out where the bump on the road is, right? And that is nothing to do with the cameras, but the other sensors that are on the car. All this information is much more kind of comprehensive as compared to what you might have on your other compute devices. That is what the car has. If you can build use cases around it, and as Cristiano said, right, it's not one killer app. It is multiple different applications that can benefit from the capability that is there from a compute standpoint, whether it is CPUs, NPUs, the software standpoint, or the ecosystem that can bring it on the car. That's what we are playing in.
I mean, definitely the more aware the car is, the better, especially in autonomous driving. You hear some of these early horror stories where the car sees speed limit of 65, they go 65, but they fail to recognize that it's snowing outside, and you can't go that fast, right?
Exactly, right? So no, that's true. That's
cool.
true.
So let's talk a little bit about this as you talk about some of these killer apps, right? You guys have a great SDE platform in AI Hub that spans all of your different devices. So talk to me a little bit about AI Hub in auto. How is the developer engagement specifically in auto going? Are you guys starting to build that up as well? Do you have a like a Porsche in the back in the device farm that they're able to access? Like how are you guys doing AI Hub in auto?
So I think that's a great point that you brought up. Think about it this way, right? AI Hub brings in, you saw we have mobile, compute, IoT, automotive as four branches that we showed in the AI Hub earlier today. Basically, the benefit of AI Hub is as a developer, and the developer could be the application developer for the car or the mobile device. They can bring in their models, they can bring in their own data, or they can look at Qualcomm to provide a solution that Qualcomm might have already done that. Right. So the expanse of the developer ecosystem that we can touch is immense across multiple solutions. Now, when you look at it, the benefits of from the models that are already functional, built in, optimized, bringing into automotive, that's a good starting point. Now, the complexity of the automotive models are going to be different, right? They are end-to-end transformers that we are talking about. We bring all these compute capabilities behind us, where you can kind of log on to AI Hub, bring your model, run it on that big compute like a Cockpit Elite or Ride Elite behind the scenes, generate the results and bring it out. Now, what you actually asked is a very interesting question that, are you having, for example, a Porsche in the behind the scenes? This is where the next level comes in, where you start talking about how you will have virtual solutions at a car level or parts of the car level that can kind of instantiate many other inputs or sensors. Cristiano again talked about bring your own data as well. That, and we have made some announcements as well. That input, when it's coming in, you as a user, like a Porsche engineer, come in, bring your own data. I have the way of how to instantiate different data sources coming into my compute engine, and you can run your model, generate the output. Much easier exercise to deploy in the car versus trying to do it directly onto the car in its first place. So that's what we are bringing in on the table with the AI Hub in automotive.
That's great. That's great. Yeah. So I mean, let's wrap it up a little bit here with two quick hits. Okay. First one is the transition to SDV. I know it's been kind of going fits and starts. How do you think SDV is going?
SDV is actually the future. How it is looking like. Every automaker is connecting to their end users, like you and I having our cars, and the automaker connecting to us, is through this newer experiences, which are primarily software defined, right? I mean, software applications are really the way we will interact. Gen AI is a big piece to that. That's what the automakers are trying to do, and we are in the middle of it. SDV will have instantiations. It will be a continuously evolving approach, but the architectures on the car, whether it is to do with the hardware or software, are being thought through today, so that they can plan for the future.
Starting to do it now, and we'll have some cars rolling out.
Exactly.
Like now, right?
There are instantiations of SDVs that you can
some
exactly.
the EVs, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, last question. If you were a betting man, what year do you think we're going to have fully autonomous L4, maybe even L5 out there, where we can do work like Minority Report in the car and have the car just drive us to work?
I wish I had a crystal ball to give that answer, and whatever I answer will probably not be correct. So we all are
just as Anshuman, not even Qualcomm, just as Anshuman. What do you think?
I think the technology exists. The technology exists. It's a question of how scalable it is.
Yeah.
The investments that are required to really solve the problem at a scale. That is really the concern, right? Because otherwise, you can sense a lot of information. You can bring in a lot of compute capabilities. People have been putting big PCs in the cars. All that can be done, but can it be scaled and can it be reliable and safe?
Yeah.
I think if it was my guess, we are talking about probably towards the end of the decade, it will be a little more available. But yeah, I mean,
that's not that far away.
Yeah,
5 or 10 years. That's not.
Yeah,
bad.
I think it's probably in if I was to do a betting, I'm probably looking at it towards the end of the decade to early part of the next decade. So maybe 5 to 10 years kind of thing.
Perfect. Well, Anshuman, thank you for spending this time with me. Hopefully, you'll get a chance to enjoy some of this great place. And
Yes.
I appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thanks, Francis, for coming all the way here once again. And I hope you'll have great 3 days here at the Snapdragon Summit. Get some time to walk around in the beach too.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody, and we'll see you on the next episode.